you were actually looking to an in-person trainer. Why did you feel like that originally was the right direction to go to?
I just thought like kind of having someone there would make myself more accountable, but having the apps to use to track everything, that was really good accountability. And also the Discord group, just kind of everyone is there to support each other and gas each other up. And just everyone relates because everyone's on kind of like the same journey. I don't think I could have that with like an in-person trainer because it's not like a group, it's more like one-on-one. So I'd say having the group is like a big thing that kind of changed my mind about things. Still able to connect with the coaches through these Zoom meetings and the weekly check-ins. So it changed my mind. It doesn't really bug me anymore about y'all are all the way out in Australia and we're all the way, I'm over here. I mean, I think that's still pretty cool. Then when I started seeing the results as well, that kind of helped keep me going. And then just having goals to hit at the end of the week and like just trying to hit like the help the number on the scale go down low.
I know we have these conversations during our weekly calls, our group calls as well, just constantly reminding people how to maintain that relationship or that positive relationship so that they can continue to stay motivated, which I don't feel like a lot of trainers really do. They don't really explore mental structures or systems that allows you to continue to stay consistent. Would you agree?
I'd say so. I think a lot of the trainers that I've seen just when I go to the gym and I see the trainers working with their clients, they're kind of there pushing them. And then also like social media. And I think they paint a false picture where a lot of trainers are like in your face, kind of, oh, you ate a Twinkie, you're gonna do 20 push-ups. Let's go. I don't really see punishing us for not doing things or not hitting certain goals but I do appreciate that the coaches are upfront and direct but they're not mean and just having like someone tell you the truth in a way that's not demeaning or shameful.
And do you
I
actually
think is
find that
very
a lot more effective long term?
I think so. I think because I know when I get feedback from my coach, I take it to heart and just really try to improve and not disappoint. And then gives me feedback where I need to fix things or I need to work harder on certain things. For me, it's sleep, getting solid 7 hours every night can be tough. And then, yeah, it's also with my workouts, gives me encouragement to push myself a little bit more. Like going to failure, there are times where I could have done a couple extra reps or I could go heavier. A little bit of me is a little bit scared because I'm usually just trying to test the water, see what I can handle. But I'm getting stronger every week. I know some workouts it'll be a little bit sore and achy, but the next week I come back stronger. So seeing like going from like 35 to 45-pound
Yeah.
dumbbells kind
It's
of
a good feeling.
boosts my confidence a little bit. Like
Yeah, 100%. And you've been able to do that and we're not even physically there with you. But you've done both. You've experienced both the online space and the in-person space. And this is actually a very common concern that people have coming into this. They really think that an in-person trainer would be more beneficial. What would you say has been the biggest differences that's led to better results and a better experience for you?
I would say the weekly check-ins and then just having the tools like the apps to kind of track everything. And when we submit the daily check-in and the weekly check-in, those are metrics that y'all get to see, and then you can give us feedback based off of those. And I've never like worked with a trainer in person that does something like that. It's always just been like, hey, we're gonna do these hit workouts. I don't think it was for me because a lot of times like the trainers that I work with, they told me what to do and then they just kind of stood around.
That's exactly what I try to explain to people, right? I have a bone to pick with doctors, I have a bone to pick with personal trainers, because one, personal trainers, they get certified in a couple weeks or a couple months, if I'm not mistaken, right? It really comes down to experience. And a lot of personal trainers, they tell you the what, but never the how, right? And if you don't know the how, it's very difficult for you to actually be able to sustain this and do this for yourself long term. Because what's most important are the things that happen outside the gym, and we've discussed this in our weekly group calls. I don't think you were in our last one. That was a really good one. I sent the recording in our group. Again, I always come back to this. Physical exercise is only 10% of your daily expenditure, which is roughly 300 to 400 calories. What it really comes down to is sustainability, structures, systems, tools, recreating our standards, just having higher standards for ourselves so that we're able to maintain and manipulate what we eat. Even there was a point, Josh, you mentioned that you kind of, correct me if I'm wrong, you lost a bit of passion, but this reignited that.
It did. Like before the program, I wasn't meal prepping. I mean, I tried to, but I'd never stuck with it because it was always easier to grab some drive through or Uber Eats. I was just, when I was heavier, I was just also like depressed and like unmotivated, lazy, and just kind of sat around when I wasn't working. But having to meal prep, like it forced me to get into a routine and establish schedule, getting groceries, and setting aside like a few hours every week to prep for all your meals for the week became beneficial because now I'm not worried about what I'm going to eat. I already know food that I can heat up. I already know what I'm going to have for dinner. I don't really have to
Think
put
about
a
it,
whole
right?
lot of thought.
Yeah.
It's that did respark my love for cooking.
And you're also inspiring others to do the same. I'm gonna show some pictures up here, but the food looks amazing. You're still eating your rice. You're not cutting anything out because it's all about sustainability. Now, what's the end goal, Josh? Not just physically, but also mentally and emotionally.
Physically, I would like to hit 238 by March of next year. That'll be 100 pounds that I drop. Every time I did this kind of like seesaw diet, never hit 100 pounds. And so that would just be kind of a big thing for me, just as to say, hey, I hit triple digits. I lost
Yeah.
100 pounds. I just want to be healthier and live longer. My buddies have kids and they all look up to me like as an uncle. He really told me, he's like, hey, man, like my kids love you, like, and you need to be around for a long time. He said it's something to me that kind of really resonated
And I know you've tried in the past. Have you actually been able to lose a bit of weight in the past? But why didn't it work long term for you, Josh?
because I always gave him the old habits, really. And I just didn't have the tools, or I knew about the tools to help keep me accountable and help like track everything. I always try to do everything like mentally,
Yeah.
and it just never worked.
And I guess how has this experience helped you with that?
Just forcing myself to get into the system and then also tracking everything. Just
Yeah.
I have to track it. And that way I know exactly how many calories I'm eating in a day. I know how many steps I'm taking in a day, and just forces me to think about it.
You're more conscious about your decisions, your actions, your behavior, right? And when you get used to doing the harder things, making the right or better choices, it stacks. Now, Josh, like, how do you feel 4 months ago? How do you feel now about yourself when you look in the mirror?
I really feel happy with myself.
Yeah.
Like I'm like I can see some like tone in my arms a little bit. Like when I put on clothes, I'm like, oh man, confident. Like I walk taller.
And have you noticed that now having more confidence, more energy, what does that change for you in terms of maybe your relationships or even your career?
I don't get as anxious as I used to. Like at work, I used to get like real like anxious, like, man, I really don't want to talk to these people today. Like, but now I'm like a little bit more mellowed out. I'm calm. Like,
You don't take that stress home, you don't transfer that stress to people around you. And again, I remember our first conversation, you were so hesitant and skeptical at that very start. Was it more about skepticism on us or doubt within yourself?
maybe both. And I just got comfortable and
Mm.
I wasn't taking care of myself. I was eating junk food all the time. After I lost maybe 30 pounds, I was like, okay, I can keep going with this. I can keep doing that. I started setting goals for
Yeah.
myself.
And for the people that are on the fence, Josh, that are thinking about doing it, but a little bit hesitant or scared, what would you tell them?
I would say give it a shot. Do a 30-day trial like I did. And just really kind of connect with the guys in the Discord. And we're here to support you just like the coaches are. We want to see you do well. We want to see you get that confidence back.
What I place a lot of emphasis on is it's not just transformational physically, and I feel like that's what really separates us from a lot of trainers and doctors. It's not just about physical weight, but it's the challenges that we go through that allows us to evolve into a stronger individual. And these traits and characteristics and standards that we unlock allows us to accomplish bigger and greater goals. So in our group calls, I always allude to things beyond just the weight room because I really want us to have that ambition, that drive to continue to excel and not settle for just what we have in terms of our career, in terms terms of our relationship. And obviously, I know this wasn't cheap, right? But would you say it's been worth the investment?
So I'm just kind of thinking, like, like all that money that I put in DoorDash, Uber Eats, I could have paid for this program twice.
Wow.
So, and if I kept going down that road, I was going to be on 600-pound life. I was so close to being on that path. It's heartbreaking because you're like, man, I'd never get that big. But, they probably said the same thing when they were my size.
Yeah. And that's the thing, right? Like, I think a lot of people are so focused on the cost of the investment, but they don't think about where they've spent the money and the cost of inaction. Because if you continue to go down that path, what's the cost of medication? Not just the financials, but also like the opportunities in life, all the memories you miss out on. Like, that's so invaluable, and not many people realize that. I will never forget our first conversation. I genuinely feel like I've played a role in redirecting your life. And if I were not to have been able to almost convince you or believe in you that day and even offer you that trial, man, I don't know where you would be. So it feels really fulfilling for me when I see the people that I speak to on those initial calls, or even the calls Thomas and Will speaks to, actually putting the work in, man. But I really
Absolutely.
appreciate you for sharing your experience, man. I hope others find your journey inspiring and relatable and start committing to their promises of making a change as well. And again, I'm just glad to hear for you, Josh, that it has been a good experience and a lifestyle change, life-changing experience, if that. It was a pleasure speaking with you again, Josh, and congratulations on the progress so far. And again, it's super, super fulfilling for me to see how far you've gone in such a short period of time. I'll speak to you soon. Bye,
All right.
Josh.
Take it easy, Alex.